folks that spoke did a great job, and they set a high bar, so I'll try not to lower it too much here. But first, I want to break my talk up into kind of three categories. First, memories, and that's bad because mine sucks. But there's some certain things that happened in my years that are standout moments for the history of the band, and probably the first of those is a lovely lady, Louise Marino, who was a freshman with me, and we both graduated in '86. And our freshman year, we did a show. I think it was Bradford. Doc?
It was Bradford.
Yeah, it was Bradford.
Oh, don't ask me.
Yeah.
It was Bradford.
And it was rainy, so we had to wear our band condoms. And there's a moment, of course, we have the high knee company front push, and Weezy's 4'11", so her pants were, one size fits all, kind of. And she marched right out of them, and didn't miss a beat, didn't trip, didn't fall, just kept going. And my memory of that is Doc coming out from the sidelines to shake her hand in that way. So that's a legendary moment for them. So if the speakers last night talked about culture a little bit, and I think that period of time, as I was reflecting on those talks, really was about establishing the culture. So if the culture was established in those first few years, it was ingrained by the time I got here. And you walked into that band and everything was like, it was just like an overwhelming, oh my gosh, this is so cool experience, because you're coming from a small high school for me. And as time goes on, the biggest thing about all this is that there are moments that get you, and I'm going to get back to that in a second. But Mary was so kind in her introduction to list all the things that I did. But there's this thing called a culture, and that culture for me was a culture of aspiration. Because when you got there, you wanted to be doing whatever was next that would make you more integrated into the culture and the society and the success of the band. And so, everybody, DI class was always, he often had to open two sections. So being a DI was a big deal. Then being section leader was a big deal. And of course, the year, that was my junior year when I was section leader. Anybody have their saxophones here from that year? Our lowly saxophone section, one zucchini! And I don't know if it was the only time Woodwind section won, but that was the time. And I remember being on Chris Rowland's shoulders in the final zucchini doing 360s while we were playing and marching at the same time. It was just crazy, silly stuff. But then the next step, is drum major. I tried out for drum major 3 times, and the last time, Doc says he remembers my audition. He said he wouldn't tell me if that was a good thing or bad. But I got to be one, so it couldn't have been that bad. But anyway, yeah, it was a highlight of my life. And the reason I wanted to do that was because the drum majors I saw from my freshman year and the videos we watched of the previous Marco Hennig and Joe Liker, Jerry Blackwood, Jay Butterfield, all those guys, they were just like gods to us when we were freshmen. So anyway, there's that. And then the next step, then like Gary Zeke, we all love Gary. He has so many arrangements, and I'm like, if Gary can do it, maybe I can. And so I just said, Doc, would you mind reading something I arranged? And it ended up being first thing. That was the year that Barbara Streisand, her Broadway album came out, and they had the coolest arrangement of the summer. I'm like, that must be so great with the band. So I did it, and it's got a great quote at the beginning. If you're a jazz guy, there's the first segment of this of the arrangement has "I can't get started." I thought that was a great joke, so I kept it in there. But anyway, so I got the arrangement thing that went so well. I got to do a few more, and it was just a blast to write for the band. And then grad assistant. You just come back and you get interwoven in there, and I'm sure he doesn't remember this, but that was the year that the band, or that the football team, made the national championship for the first time. And we played North Dakota State, but there was a concert with the choirs on Sunday, and the game was Saturday, and we had to leave on Friday. So we left it Friday at 5 in the morning, got down there at 11. Paul Road and I were roommates, and we get down there at 11, we get kind of to sleep. There's a parade in the morning, the game, we got to leave right after the game. So we're driving. My memory of that, the reason I'm bringing that up is my memory of that is singing Christmas carols with my ex-wife now, but my wife at the time, and Andy Telerovich coming through Nashville trying to stay away, getting back in time for the concert. But yeah, so but that was that was just a social memory. Anyway, the so that culture of aspiration is what makes you want to do the next thing. And as far as the last thought I want to leave with everybody, I think the reason I'm talking today is what I said on the video earlier, but because it didn't hit me, because they were asking for quotes. And so I was thinking about it, I'm like, my first time performing Grace in front of a high school exhibition was Bradford, or maybe it was Erie, I don't remember, it doesn't matter. But I remember this, that when we get to the push, and you see that whole audience stand up and they can't help themselves. And you're like, it's that, well, I forget what you called it, but it's an aesthetic moment where everything just rushes through you. And that was the moment when I decided I want to be a college band director. And that was also the moment where I said, I want every student I ever interact with to have this feeling. Mm-hmm. So what's that do? That makes you, that guides every decision you make. Mm-hmm. So that's the power of what the marching band wants to be. So thank you, Doc.
His arrangement of Glory, I think we have one video of that. If you ever get a chance to see that, that's kind of the border where a marching band can go. But that arrangement is incredible.
Wow.
That was eyes on the field, by the way.
Under the direction of Dr. Charles Casavant, and Joe Carloni, presenting the IUP Marching Band.
tonight's closers, we present trumpet soloist Louise Marino and Tim Steiner in Pines of the Appian Way, arranged by Gary Z.
Gary!
1, 2,